Welcome back to the channel. This is my second shot at it. Turns out the dog interrupted and I had to look it up, but Eidolon, at first, in the first time through, I'm like, it means phantom or spirit or something like that. I think and it turns out that was Wikipedia kind of misleading me, because when I get to the Webster's, and I'm not endorsing this, that, or the other, but over here,
Eidolon.
I learned how to say it, and then it says phantom, but then two is ideal, and synonyms. I'm looking down there, and I read the lyrics. I changed my setup. I'll probably put the first edition and first take at the end of this so you can see the process. But I was faking my way through it. Here we already have a lot more information, and because of what I read in the lyrics, I have to admit that I feel this is actually pretty interesting lyrical content. But at first I couldn't pick up every word, so I'll share it with you as we go along. Well, first we'll check out the tune. What did I say? See, I'm Eidolon. Eidolon, Arcane-Gel, off a upcoming. What did I see here? Upcoming. First single from the much anticipated first full length album, Paradola. Oh, Lord. Guys, I mean, no disrespect. You know, if it was See Dick Run, I wouldn't fail. But, you know, your lexicon is better than mine. And mine's not that bad.
Daddy, if we believe in something so much, does that make it true?
Okay, now that's not over in my lyrics, is it? Yeah, is that? I gotta listen closer.
Daddy, if we believe in something so much, does that make it true?
First time around, I was late to the whole party. Now I hear that as you know, Daddy, if we believe in something enough, does that make it true, kind of thing. And this is that Imagination Land South Park premise. We've talked about this on the channel. So what's gonna come up here is all these different ideas. The bars, I think, are fire. And here, unfortunately, he digs distrust, conspiracies in spades. The stab is somehow easier when the killer have a face. I'm guilty as charged. Hopefully I'm not just a sad rattlesnake defined by his tail, but I have firmly believed that the idea of evil has to be brought to a quantifiable truth. That there is, yeah, I do believe there are agents of darkness working within the system to bind and control us. And it does make life easier putting the ultimate face of evil on a reality I can face and stand up to. But it doesn't mean I'm right. It means I believe that crazy shit to be true. And it's all up in here. Spinning the record backwards, hearing what you need to hear. I'm not going to ask you to go watch a crazy Minecraft video, but I talked about a picture I saw yesterday. And in the picture, you could see a figure in the trees because of a certain ratio of light too dark. It's like that image right there. You could see that face. If you can't, then maybe it doesn't work for you. But it could easily be a skull kind of on its side. I don't know about the top, but there could. This is perfect. So my friend's sister sees her dead husband, but the other sister sees something dark and evil. And my interpretation was this: I see an image of a human because I was taught a ratio in art class that represents the universal ratio for face or figure, how we see phantoms in the shadows. So that was my interpretation. I believe she believed it was her husband because that's what's in her heart. And sister number two is steeped in darkness and she saw demons. I personally believe I'm the only one who was right. I saw a correct ratio of light to shadow, but then I took all the feeling out of it. Where the other two people are interjecting intense personal feelings into it all. And I just think this plays, if you get the lyrics and look them up, I didn't hear the hook that close, so I'm gonna really pay attention to the hook this time through. But I think there's a lot of value in this lyrical content, and I find myself unfortunately in a couple of those places. And they're not the carefree bars that some of them are. I end up on the serious side. Damn it.
Daddy, if we believe in something so much, does that make it true? Maybe that's enough.
Her savior stayed for breakfast. A toast fell face up, never took a bite. Before that she could taste love, he prayed for an anarchy to take him. Spun the vinyl in reverse, hurt my sweet Satan. She plants trust in depleted plottage. Can't fathom why this love won't blossom. Digs distrust, conspiracy in space. The stab is on my Weezy when the killers have a face. She looks to the stars to tell us who we are. Played the lottery today with Jupiter and Mars. Work past dinner, work past bedtime. Traded his family, buried that bread line. Widow of the black, beginner of the grief. Found closure in the open where the dead begin to speak. His eyes to the sky, following a flicker in the grace. Chose him, what a privilege. So imagine Nirvana, fill the blanks in. Sing is darker without a captain. Time for Centaur, spinning a quilt. A spider's web or a pillar of silk. Some of our sacred layers of husk. Come with a makeshift to a shape we can trust. Anything just to feel a little less alone here.
All right, so imagine Nirvana, fill the blanks in. Sync is darker without a captain. A time for centaur, spinning a quilt, spider's web, or a pillar of silk. Some of our sacred layers of husk, cup of a makeshift to a shape we can trust. Anything just to feel a little less alone here. Well, I mean, this is just weird because at my card game, I went and played cards with my buddies for the first time in like 7 months. And had a couple moments where the universe seemed to be winking at us. You don't have to believe it. I don't care. This is what's so great about this lyrical content in this moment. Is I agree with all this. So I don't care what little crazy thing I want to believe in if it makes me function every day. The world would be a much uglier place without this. Now, there's a line eventually, because this is the second time I went through this. The only part is when when we get to the end. I believe being a little bit off is okay. Being, incredibly immorally wrong. Yeah, I mean, I see there's a line for morality. There's lines. A little bit of crazy can go a long ways. Too much becomes psychopathy. We'll go with that.
And who am I to judge? And who am I to judge?
You're not, unless that's over that line, then it's your responsibility. That's who, all of us. If an act goes against the benefit of humanity, looking the other way is the worst thing we can do. And I'm not talking about some questionable shit in the gray areas that make us unique. Right? Avoiding black cats, never stepping on cracks, never had an accident. No, she probably just manifested herself some safety through that imaginary crazy coming up here a bit in the bars. I'm totally cool with that. That's the kind of power of manifestation I totally believe in. Putting the whole toolkit together and making oneself rich and powerful from the energies of the universe, not so much, but I'm sure people believe in that too. So who is to judge? Well, it depends on what line it falls on, and then either none of us or all of us. In my personal opinion, all opinions for entertainment purposes only.
And who am I to judge? And who am I? So she lays out her palms, decorated cards, a pinch of control for a speculative charm. He hoards treasures, we see junk waste. Every single item has its one day. She found poise in pixelated places, plays to an audience of simulated faces. He struggles with a firearm.
So first time through, I got to this moment and I realized I was off. I had my own little issues because the finally, what happened is I wasn't sure if it was a story. I couldn't tell what each section was really. I couldn't tell what was going on. And if there was a continuous story or what point was being made. But then I got to this one, she found poise in pixelated places, plays to an audience of simulated faces. Now, I put half of my deep content in a Minecraft video this morning. I mean, no one's going to watch it, but to me, it's as validating as the real world, as long as I don't get lost there. But finding your poise, that's the high point. So, I mean, she found some, right? And I realized, wait, is this all like individual things? And then I realized, oh shit, I read it because the dog had to go out and, oh, sure. Like here, I owned up the parts, but then you've got one of these Snuggles coming up next. He snuggles with a firearm prepped for apocalypse to wipe out the villainy of left-wing politics. And then I would say from my own, let's say, observations, that's actually right. There's crazies who will defend to the end their ideology over the next person's. And instead of me going, well, I mean, I have a side, but I can't find people on my side that want to control anybody. It turns out, I hate to tell you this, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but I think what everybody who has a little bit of common sense fears is that the other side of their ideology is going to impose an authoritarian will upon them. That appears to be a safe fear for both sides. But with the actual reworking of laws, changing of speech to become the most horrible thing the planet has ever seen, but horrors beyond recognition being bypassed like they mean nothing, I'm not sure society figured out a thing. And I'm going to revert back to that conspiracy theorist saying that this is all Hegelian dialect imposed by the globalists to disrupt all of society and implement a new world order upon it. But like I said, I align with the conspiracy theorists.
In pixelated places, plays to an audience of simulated faces. He struggles with a firearm, prep for apocalypse, to wipe out villainy, left-wing politics. Weighted by hatred and rage, a failing shrink with a stranger to blame. A fatherless calm in a concrete jungle, swung to a gang of cantankerous uncles. She avoids black cats, never walks on the tracks. Never had an accident, fall or collapse. Prescribed to his idol and nail. Just another sad rattlesnake defined by his tail. So imagine Nirvana, fill the blanks in. Sink is darker without a captain. Time for central, spinning a quilt. A spider's web or a pillar of silk. Some of our sacred layers of husk. Cup of a makeshift to a shape we can trust. Anything just to feel a little less alone here. Who am I to judge? And who am I to judge?
Now, I don't want to play hardball. I don't want to piss the guys off because this band has been nothing but generous and nice to me. I mean, they've reached out. It's not like we're building a relationship. I'm really piss poor at that. But they have been nothing but generous and awesome. And I think tactful. Guys, I think you're tactful when you call these interesting at some points because I'm a rambling idiot. We know this. But I think you nailed this one. Honestly, I think you nailed most of it. I like your work, but your lyrical content here is exceptional. But to be fair, because I like to play, hey, I might be a card-carrying member of one side or the other. My time and effort here has to be directed at something greater than myself, and that would be unity between everybody that's morally sound enough to function as a human being on the face of this earth. I learned about it through reactions and traveling and other things, but I learned that people are people are people are people. And that this is really appropriate in the way that it shows all these different little unique beliefs, right? I love her savior stayed for breakfast, and that toast fell face up. Well, that seems like it's a wink and a nod at that all buttered toast falls face down. If you strap it to the cat, who always lands on its feet, you create a conundrum in the universe. Free energy. Okay, now I'm kidding, but the idea what lost me right away, and then I couldn't tell on the second line. He prayed for anarchy to take him, spun the vinyl in reverse, and heard "My Sweet Satan." And I thought it was all part of the same story at first, and then now I'm like, oh, wait. I mean, that second one, there's a whole crappy '80s rock and roll movie with like Skippy from Family Ties, but a lot of good music from a fast way. But my point is these aren't even, it's not even a stretch. These are archetypes that exist, or weird eccentricities. That's probably more appropriate. So I really think it's awesome, but who am I to judge? Well, by the lyrical content alone, there's sides taken. It tends to lean a little more towards, I would think, one side than the other, right? Not that there's anything wrong. I'm an open admitter that I used to be on the I like witchcraft, crazy sex, and freedom to be left alone, no wars, and I wanted rich elitists to pay their price. You know, see, it was like 90% of everyone at Occupy Wall Street, or the ideology that wrote the manifesto I mean, shit, I was so far gone. I thought Keith Olbermann and that manifesto for Occupy Wall Street was one of the highlights of my life at that moment. I thought that was so powerful. And then a week later, we learned about what was going on in the tents and crusty hippies, drum circles, and basically, as the system showed me cops spraying people with pepper spray, I kept seeing people who appeared to be pushing the cops' buttons, not getting anywhere close to affecting change to Wall Street suits. It seemed like a big show, a anarchy versus authority show. And just like I'm kind of ranting on here, who am I to judge? Well, I have eyes. I watched it all. I showed up at the events. I learned that the side I was on wasn't really my ideological peers. They were my drug den peers. And somehow someone was slipping them, enough support currency on the side that they could just sit around and do nothing all day. I had to go to work to fund my drug den. So who was I to judge? Well, I mean, I lived it. I saw behaviors that seemed unworthy to align with. And I slowly switched positions. And I would say that that's all in here too. You can figure out what you got to figure out. I once again will finish with it's got to be morally sound. Right? If your main purpose for living is revenge on your enemies, you have a petty, petty life. And I would say there's all kinds of good and bad ideas in here. Now, all of them are a little off, but they're not bad. But then there's some that are poor influence, right? The fatherless cub in a concrete jungle, doing what all the other boys do. We create those paths until we acknowledge them and their destructive nature, right? No, this is a great track.
And who am I to judge? And who am I to judge?
You're one of the stewards of the earth. That's who. I'm not saying harsh judgment and casting a first stone. I think sometimes we use the who am I to judge idea to forgive a lot of bad, that leads us. It's safe to say we don't always head in the right direction. If we did, we wouldn't create radicals looking to eliminate each other's ideology through force and violence. Right? I don't know what utopia looks like, but I know people aren't shooting each other for beliefs there. And they can't be such malleable flesh wads that they can only have a single instilled opinion. Right? It can't be, to black and white, to happy hippies in Time Machine and the Morlockians ready to eat them. It's the balance. We all got to be able to get along and not eat each other. Pretty sure.
And who am I to judge? And who am I to judge? And who am I to judge? And who am I to judge?
I think there are patterns everywhere and in everything. And if you look close enough, you'll find what you need to. So what do you believe in?
I think it's exceptional. Now, this is the channel can't get numbers to prove that. I can't get a lot of cosigns because art is subjective. But if maybe people, in my personal opinion, all opinions for entertainment purposes only, would take a little deeper dive into the ideas presented to us. Not just, is it a fucking hip beat? Can I dance to it? Because I don't think I've stretched one bit here. I believe it's, now through my own personal lens, of course, each one being individual to the person wearing the shades. But I don't think I've projected too much into it. I've taken what there is, filtered it through my own stuff, and I think it works. Worthy of the long-winded rant. Very cool. I liked it. Arcane-Gel, and I am just not that guy.
Eidolon.
Eidolon. I like the I like some of the synonyms better. It makes more sense now. The model, the paragon, the classic idea. But nonsense is in there. Patron saint too. So, ideas that carry more weight than maybe for you than me. How do you interpret the Rorschach? I mean, do you see the happy butterfly or the face of death? In the end, a lot of it's a mirror into our own everything, isn't it? No, it's, I think I'd prefer for you to think for yourself. Don't just agree with me. If you would like to share what you think, please do. If not, share with Arcane-Gel. Go give a love. If you found any sort of depth like old Rollen, should go pay that shit forward. I'm guessing in the end, their goal is to sell some albums and turn people onto their art. If you enjoyed it, I couldn't ask for more than go support them. And with that, we went long. Sorry, guys, I can't make it simple. I don't have simple in me. The simple reactions suck, in my personal opinion. All opinions for entertainment purposes only. I can't actually pick a more appropriate time for Eidolon. I had to look that up, so I didn't know how to say that. But I just came from the track The Ghost in Me, and it turns out that that's appropriate for this title. Phantom. Interesting. We're gonna get farther into that, but I'm like, no, that's perfect timing. Let's go. Arcane-Gel. Eidolon.
Daddy, if we believe in something so much, does that make it true? Maybe that's enough.
Her savior stayed for breakfast. That toast fell face up, never took a bite. Before that she could taste love, he prayed for an anarchy to take him. Spun the vinyl in reverse, hurt my sweet Satan. She plants trust in depleted plottage. Can't fathom why this love won't blossom. Digs distrust, conspiracy in space. The stab is on my Weezy when the killers have a face. She looks to the stars to tell us who we are. Played the lottery today with Jupiter and Mars. Work past dinner, work past bedtime. Traded his family, buried that bread line. Widow of the black, beginner of the grief. Found closure in the open where the dead begin to speak. His eyes to the sky, following a flicker in the grace. Chose him, what a privilege. So imagine Nirvana, fill the blank scene. Sink is darker without a captain. Time for central, spinning a quilt. A spider's web or a pillar of silk. Some of our sacred layers of husk. Come with a makeshift to a shape we can trust. Anything just to feel a little less alone here.
We got multiple issues. I really got to try to find the lyrics because I can't. I want to understand the lyrics, and the dog is becking my call. He says, hey, I got business. It's the carpenter outside. You choose. I'm going to choose outside. I'll be right back. I was gonna start all over, reset up. I brought up the lyrics. I've read the song. We're gonna go back and get back into it because person constantly distracted by their dog needing them and finding purpose there. It's not in the verses, but it could have been. It turns out when we get to the end, my archetype's in there. My personality trait, unfortunately, is in this song. As painful as it's going to be to admit, I found it. But that's
Anything just to feel.
yeah, anything just to feel.
Captain, time for central, spinning a quilt, a spider's web or a pillar of silk. Some of our sacred layers of husk, come with a makeshift to a shape we can trust. Anything just to feel a little less alone here.
Man, okay, I'm gonna save this. Maybe I'll put it at the end. Maybe I won't. Yeah, because I don't really know what the hook is, and I'd really like to not go through it pretending ignorance is bliss. I think I have everything I need to make this a solid reaction, and I think once again, the lyrical content extends far past any amount of views I can get the band. I think there's a very good substance in these lyrics. Hopefully, we'll save this and you get to peek into the process. It turns out I fail a lot.